So I'm just in, not really anywhere spectacular, but I'm just doing a wee update on the subjects I find quite bizarre. I was talking yesterday on a live at South Queen's Ferry, and I was talking about the Dunfermline guesthouse, possible Mandela effect. It's something I find really bizarre. Really bizarre. Basically, I'll try and keep this short because I've got a few things to try and mention on here as well, I'd like to share with you. But yeah, yesterday, if you watched it live, or if you're watching it whatever, later on, then I was talking about, there was me and a friend that went to a guest house in Dunfermline, and we were there for one night during August, and just yesterday I was at Dunfermline and I wanted to see the guest house again, and then I went to a place where I thought it was, in fact I'm sure it was, and I checked and it was never a guest house. At the times we were there, it was never a guest house. Now I've done research online. I phoned up some places, the library in Dunfermline, I've sent email, tried to phone the tourist info. I phoned up my mate again, a bit more information, shared more information privately on Messenger. I looked in more in depth on the laptop, on Google Maps, the history, timeline, and I went through old files as well that I had from the August 2019 Dunfermline Bus Museum weekend, because that's what we were at. And we spent the night at the guest house. So I looked at the files, and my mate, he also sent a screenshot of the Facebook post that he did. Oh, hello, somebody's joined me. So he sent me that. No, I didn't do any Facebook stuff or anything like that back then, but I did do a lot of photos and videos from my own records. So I look back and just, I was looking for pictures. It took me ages to find it. It shouldn't have took as long as it did, but I eventually found the file that I'd done for that August, the 17th of August 2019 at the Dunfermline Bus Museum weekend. And I found it. It took me ages, and then I eventually found it. Now, there wasn't as much photos as I thought there ought to have been. And just amazingly, I screen saved it, the actual booking confirmation myself of the guest house. And the name of the guest house was, the one that I totally ruled out yesterday as being the guest house. I won't name the guest house on here because I just mentioning the principles, I don't want to spark controversy. But it's just the principles. I mean, obviously privately it's a different matter. I could mention it then privately, but not publicly on this. But I'm just pointing out the principles of it, So, I basically typical, bloody typical. I'm going to move forward as soon as he moves on, because I'm facing the camera that way and it looks like I'm just facing it at him, but I'm not. I'm doing a live and it's facing towards me, but it's just the way that would appear. And then I'll move forward so nobody will be able to park in front of me unless you park at a corner and double yellow lines to be awkward. So they'd have to be breaking the law. It's nobody's fault, it's just chance. But as soon as that car moves in, moving forward, so nobody will be facing them in view. I just don't have time to go and find somewhere nice, so I'm just going to wait and I'll shift forward a car length. So yeah, I got footage of pictures that he sent me on Facebook, that because my mate, he actually was on Facebook at that time and done all that stuff. I didn't do any of that stuff in 2019. I only started doing Facebook and YouTube in 2020. Right, so give me a moment, I'm just going to move forward a bit, okay, give us a second. Just sit there, I'll probably roll all over the place, but I'm just going to drive forward a car length because again, I don't want people parking right in front of me, facing me as well. So they'd have to be on the double yellow lines and in the corner if they're going to convenience me. Not that the NBA is inconveniencing me, it's just sod's law, you know. I hate that, so I'm gonna... There's nothing really much to show up ahead anyway. So the only thing is, it'll look like in film and everybody is passing, but that's the downside. Well, if I face the other way, I get the reflection, so... So bloody annoying, that. You know what I mean? I hate it when that happens. I don't normally think about that when I'm doing videos, because I just have it all sort of thinking, well, there's not really much anyway. I'll just show you where that... Well, no, yeah, we'll give you a nice view of the McManus. You'll probably know if you're from Dundee anyway, but a little turn. So it's quite a nice evening, and it's really you know, busy over there with the outdoor sort of beer garden kind of thing. Well, it's not a beer garden, but it's outdoor. So McManus Gallery in front. That's Dundee's Albert Square. Royal Exchange there's a building on the left, and just at the, you know, just at this nice, well, it's not, I see it every day, so it's just an everyday thing for me. But yeah, I'd just be doing lives and that. Maybe I should have something. I'm balancing that now. I'm doing a bit of a balancing act. I wonder if that will just stay that way for a minute. See, if I do that, it's not going to make a difference. I hope the light reflects off the windscreen so they don't see it, because they don't know that I'm doing a live. It might just look like I'm filming everything ahead, and it's, you know. But anyway, drifting off. So he sent me a picture of the pictures that he took and posted on Facebook. It wasn't much, it was only one, and it was his room, and I'm trying to look at the rooms, you know, there's not much to go on, but the window layout, to try and compare things, but there's nothing much to compare it on. So so I got the booking confirmation anyway. Claire, I got the name of the guest house, and then I sent I screen saved it and sent it. I went to Google Maps to the place that I wrote out instantly on the day, and I screen saved the Google Maps images of that area, and I showed the picture to my mate. I sent it to Messenger. Now, prior to me showing him these pictures and naming the guest house, the memories were not clear, but he sort of agreed with what I was kind of saying it. Because I was doing a live stream yesterday, you could just look on the live stream, the comments are there, going along with what I was remembering. To a degree, but not really necessarily outright agreeing to it, but just more sort of jogging his memory, and some of the pictures and some of the things that I mentioned before I showed him these pictures, he was sort of kind of agreeing with it to a degree, but not certain. But I mean, I mentioned upstairs there's a big stone building and that. So, but the strange thing was, when I actually sent the screenshot to him of what it said on the booking confirmation that I made, the name of the guest house, I ruled out instantly not being the one, because it looked nothing like it. And I've got pictures inside, you know, off the line online, you know, the public pictures. I can't share it on here, like, but I showed him privately. I showed my mate privately, and the strange thing was is that it's just like a change of mind, you know. Suddenly it all fits into place, and that's what it was that he remembered and how it looked. But it didn't look anything like it. And another thing that happened that was really bizarre during the research that I was doing. Remember I said that the guest house was on the opposite side of the road to the one that I thought it was. I know it was a different street, but I was on the opposite side to the bus station side of the road. But I had done my research yesterday. I drove there and I went onto the street where the other guest house was that was suggested to me. It might be the one that I was at, which wasn't, because it didn't look anything like it. And I remember saying it was on the opposite side of the road, which it was at that time, and that was only yesterday. And I was researching online on Google Maps, and it's so bizarre. It happened. The Mandela effect happened there and then, because it changed. It changed while I was doing research this morning. It changed to the other side, the bus station side of the road. Oh, it's just bizarre. It actually happens. It's the first time that's happened. I've seen Mandela effects happen, in real time, if you like. Going back 2017, I think it would have been. I was sitting in the room with the heater on. It's got a kind of. I never had a pattern on the front, and when I looked up, I was actually probably doing stuff about the Mandela effect, and I looked down at the heater, and the actual pattern was there. It wasn't there before, and I spotted it right away, like. So that happened right in front of my own sort of, right in front of my eyes. It happened there and then because I was just kind of looking at other things, and I looked up at I moved my head up randomly and just saw the marks on the front of the heater, the pattern mark. I modelled up the model. I checked the models on other models of its kind that's on all of them as well. And that was like just there and then. So it's just changed. This thing has happened before. That was about 6 years ago. The other thing was as I said yesterday, I was doing my research, and the thing had changed this morning. I was looking at Google Maps, and as I say, I actually saw the guest house on the same side as the bus station, and that happened this morning. So that Mandela effect actually happened as I was doing research, which is just absolutely nuts. So anyway, I just found that really amazing. It was worth logging in. So there's like 2 Mandela effects in this guest house mystery. The guest house that, just by amazement, I came across the screensaver that I'd done of the booking, the original booking. The name was on it, and the name matched the name that was suggested to me that it could be that one. And says, "Oh no, it's the one. Try that down there in the street below. It'll be there." And sure, went down there, had a look at it, got the name of it. Looked nothing like what I remembered. I was on the other side of the road for a start. I was on the side of the road opposite the bus station side of the road. So I rolled it out right away. And yet the name matches that on the booking that I made in 2019. And then, as I say, I sent these pictures and emails to my mate. And it's sort of like self-update, kind of like, the memories sort of went along with it, all kind of fell into place when really. And blocking out the light, by the way, because I could use that to block anything out that I don't want. I had issues yesterday when there was things going on behind it I didn't want. I had to try and block it out, and I was getting really irritated by it. So now I could just do that, and it doesn't look all conspicuous, and I could just do that. So I've got that there just to, and it gets rid of that annoying bloody glare that it irritates the picture. So I'm trying to, as I said, not long doing lives and just messing about, trying to experiment with light layouts. Because I looked at that live that I done yesterday, and the picture is pixelated, really aggravating, really annoying. Spent 2 hours there at South Queensferry, and I was wanting to show you all the views. I looked back on it, checked it, and the pixelated, it pissed me off, that did. So I don't know what the picture's like on this, and in the central areas, so nothing fancy, just in the centre of areas at Dundee. I'm going to the cinema later on. I know I make this long, but anyway, like I say, that was bizarre. There's a few things I'm going to mention that I find quite odd. Can't tell who's on or not, but if you do, and you're interested in the old Twilight Zone, I think I made a reference to something like this on the Twilight Zone on one of my other streams. It was, I've got the video on here. Rip Van Winkle caper, and the trails on the Twilight. This is 1961 it was broadcasted, by the way, so I can show you what it looks like, because I took a picture of it on this phone. from my phone because I can't, obviously, I don't know how to do the pop-ups yet. I need to get StreamYard or whatever it is, and I haven't got that app yet. But I could show you a photo hopefully on here without too much reflection if I could load it up. I logged it in anyway, so I'll let you see it. Right. So I'll just get the sound on this. 31 seconds. So if you look at the old Twilight Zone, it's just amazing how canny it's like to today. So I'm trying my best. I'm doing a bit of a balance act. Make sure there's nothing on there I don't see. So I'll show you. This is from black and white Twilight Zones. It was broadcasted in 1961. And this is the trail. Oh, come on, I've maybe not got to. Damn it, maybe not got any live chats on there. Here's a minute. But see, I just had my tea and I didn't have time to go and drive anyway. I went into the GKD kebabs, German doner kebabs for my tea, and I'm going to cinema later, so I just came out there, had my tea, I just parked here and just did my live here. I didn't have time to go elsewhere, but it's busy obviously, so God's sake. Come on, I'm just showing you anyway, right there. So episode of the Twilight Zone, black and white one, called the Rip Van Winkle Caper, and it's on disc 36 volumes that I've got. Disc 36. These are on 16 minutes and 31 seconds. 16 minutes, 31 seconds into the episode. Rip Van Winkle Caper, black and white, the 1960s original Twilight Zone. So the trail's on there. I'll try and pause it. Black and white. That just looks so like what you could look up in the sky today and see. The film, that episode of the Twilight Zone was when the four thieves went into superannuation or whatever it is. They freeze their bodies, like astronauts going to space, that sort of thing. Something I can't remember, but it advanced 100 years and they didn't age, basically. That's what the Twilight Zone episode was about. It's a black and white one. So it was broadcast in 1961, it'd be probably made in 1960. So this would be projecting into as far as 2060. And the episode showed these sort of trails in the sky. The sound, the jet sounds that you get. Hello? The jet sounds that you would get on the jet planes. But like you say, I look up, not today specifically, but I've noticed that, the way they fly so close together like that. This is something I only discovered lately within the last few years, as I keep saying, because it is in the last few years. When I say that, I'm referring to after 2016 kind of, almost 2018 was a real, that was some year, like, for all the, and since then it's been pretty mad, but that was kind of like a big milestone or a starting point for all this trails in the sky and everything. Trails, so-called flying, planes is what we're supposed to buy into believing what they are. Flying so close together. As I say, I've got pictures, lots of pictures of them, squiggly lines and everything. But as I say, just on that episode of the Twilight Zone, 1961, this is what they would project what it would be like in 2060, because the episode was about these four thieves that stole gold, and they wanted it to be, they didn't want to spend it because it was too hot. What? So they, I don't know who's joined, they waited 100 years, but they didn't want to age, so they froze their sort of bodies or whatever it was, like what astronauts do, and they basically woke up 100 years later, if you like, and the world, that was it. The episode's interesting in its own right, but the bit that got me during the episode is when it showed, because they looked up and they said, well, this is 100 years. At first they didn't think there was much changed, and they looked up in the sky and they saw this, which is what I see today, 2016 onwards, 2017. 2018 was like a big one for the weather things, sky things. 2016, that was a big year. 2016, late 2016, Mandela effect. 2018 was weather amazing. The bizarre stuff like that in the sky. All from them, but even before that, there was stuff that was bizarre. But that was like the turning of the pivotal point. But like I say, that was their projection of what it would have been like in 2060. And let's look up there and see that. And prior to 2018 and that, I wouldn't have seen that in the sky unless it was like an air show. But I could look up and see this very regularly, just every day. In fact, if I was walking along as I do an awful lot, just up one past the Royal Exchange last year, and I saw about more than just 3 of them or 4 of them. There was probably half a dozen of them flying so close together. It's like they were racing each other. I've got pictures of it, not on here, I've not got them on here yet, but I could maybe look that out for another one. But it's just so bizarre that that episode of The Twilight Zone, 1961, had projected what I could see now in the sky. And it's like, I find it bizarre today to see it flying like that. But as I say, if you want to see that episode, it's The Twilight Zone, the Rip Van Winkle caper, 1961 black and white one. It's 30. What was it? It says this time on there. It's on disc 30. Well, that's the volume. If you've got the box set, The Twilight Zone, it's on disc 36. Oh, hi Jim. What are you doing here? Oh, how you doing? Yeah, in case you're wondering, I've got this screen behind me so I just put the jazz in the back of the seat. It's to block out anything light and anything going on. I had issues yesterday, Jim, when I was at Queen's Ferry. I was trying to block and move the camera and I was getting really irritated by it, so like I could just easily do that now. And it looks conspicuous, it's just my jumper on there. So in case you wonder what's going on, I could block out anything without having to move the camera. Because I get a bit, and there's things I don't want to be seen. I could just easily, it's like a curtain, but I can't put a curtain up because it'll draw more attention. So I just put something conspicuous like the jumper there, in case you wondered. I also gets rid of the light as well, the glare. But yeah, Jim, do you remember the old Twilight Zones? It was broadcasted, I don't know, the rerun it, I remember it, not from the 60s, but I remember it from when they showed it late at night on Channel 4, was it? It was certainly in the 80s. That's when I remember the 80s Twilight Zones as well, the colour ones. But I remember the original black and white ones that were rerunning and shown in the 80s. And I loved that show. But if you're wanting to, you could probably, anybody could get this online, just as I say, type in I've got the recording here, the Rip Van Winkle caper. So we could. Twilight Zone, black and white one, called the Rip Van Winkle caper. And it's on disc 36 volumes that I've got. Disc 36. These are on 16 minutes and 31 seconds. 16 minutes, 31 seconds into the episode. Rip Van Winkle caper, black and white, the 1960s original Twilight Zone. Yeah, so that was 16 minutes and the X number of seconds I mentioned. So if you want to see it, in fact, the episode only lasts about 20 odd minutes anyway, so you'll come across it. There was another one that I put out about the parallel. That's so like the Mandela effect as well, the original black and white Twilight Zones. It's an episode called The Parallel. Look at that online, that's something amazing as well. So that's so parallel with the Mandela effect. But this is before the term Mandela effect was widely recognised. Well, it wasn't even dubbed the Mandela effect back then, because it was dubbed that way after the Nelson Mandela thing. Not dying until 2013. And there was an article about him or something, dying in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't really know much about that, to be honest. I'm not really into that kind of thing. I don't even know why I didn't name it the Mandela effect. I don't even know what is the Mandela effect. I don't know what the hell was going on, but what I do know is it resembles something that's referred to online that's been dubbed the Mandela effect due to the Nelson Mandela thing dying. It could be whatever, anything, but that episode of Twilight Zone, The Parallel, is so like that. Oh no, somebody, I bet you. No, it's just that I don't want disturbed. I don't mean anything. It's not. I just don't want to be disturbed right now. I'm doing a live, and that's it. It's not so bad. Didn't want to be noticed, but it's, you know what I mean, when in live I kind of just yeah, the other things I was going to mention was I wrote it down, the word or the phrase nighttime was always like, it's an unusual one. It was always one sort of phrase to me, but now it feels odd. It was only today, earlier this afternoon, I stumbled across this. It's pretty odd, because nighttime used to be, you know, it's spelled Nighthtime, but that means nighttime, and you could have it in two words, night and time, or night and with two T, nighttime with two T's, you know, Nighthtime, nighttime, or nighttime, like two different words, night space and then time. But nighttime is unusual because if it's all one word with just one T, then it's like nighttime, Nightime. That doesn't seem. It just kind of seems odd. It's like the phrase "thank you" as well. Came across that lately. Stumbled across it myself. I don't know who else is like, but I just come across it. Well, a few months back. It was always one word for me. Thank you was always one word. Thank you, it was one word, but now it seems like it's two words. It was always one word for me. Thank you. So, because there's probably other things I've got stored in the notes on there, but I can't get to them because I'm doing a live. Or can I? Maybe I can actually. If I pause this, I might be able to do I might be able to get to my notes. Let's just try this for a minute. I'm going to pause this for a moment and just come out. No, better no, because if I come out, it's going to break the feed, isn't it? Right, if I come at this app, it's going to break the live, isn't it? So I'm not going to be able to do that. But as I say, I was just astonished that somebody that, you know, my mate remembered. Before that, I didn't remember much about the guest house, whether it. Going back to the guest house thing, the Dunfermline guest house mystery. I went, as I say, I looked at the building. I showed him pictures of the building, the house that I believe we were at. But I sent them privately, obviously. You know, pictures discreetly and privately because it is private. So I wasn't really photographing anything that I shouldn't. I certainly wasn't sharing it publicly. It was, and then I went to the Google Maps, which is public, and I says, well, look, I screen saved that, sent that as well. I sent screen saves of stuff from the map to him. Anyway, let's put it like that for sure. But regardless of that, I sent him an image of the guest house that I believe we were at. There was certain aspects of it that didn't gel, and then he thought about it, and then it gelled with him, and like the big window, and then he remembered the big window. Now that big window could only have existed on that building. It could not have existed on the other one, because the other one was just one story. The big stained glass window was could only be possible like that on a 2 stories, a bigger building. That was the guest house we were in. I remember going up the staircase. Now the thing about the Mandela effect as well is it's kind of, I did an article about it on my channel. I mentioned this on it as well. My experience of the phenomena that resembling the Mandela effect was a fertile line. From my experience, it's like I put it like this: it's like a diffuser sort of thing with the memory. So you could remember something very clearly, and you could remember something that's I don't know, blurred, if you like. Was it a derelict building? Oh, Jim, no, it wasn't. The building that I thought that I stayed at wasn't derelict. It was actually still in use. It was not used as a guest house, but somebody was living in it. I thought that it was a guest house. And I knocked on the door. I was wanting to get a room, see if there's any vacancies for August, like for the bus museum in August. And the occupant came out and said that, no, it's not a guest house. And I thought, he said, he's been there for many years, 10 years. Which is well before we were at that guest house. So it couldn't have been a guest house if they were living there. And suggests that, oh, it's maybe the street down there, good luck, hopefully you get it. So I went down to the street that ran parallel with it, and then that's when I came across the other guest house that's registered as a guest house, and it is only 1 story high. It looks nothing like what I remembered. I mean, I wouldn't have mistook that. And it was on the opposite side of the road to the bus station. And the strange thing was as well, only this afternoon when I was researching into it online, when I was sending the images to my mate, the screen saves of it actually moved to the bus station side. So something happened there as well as I was doing research about it. It's absolutely bizarre. I mean, it's nuts. It really is crazy. It's happened there and then. You won't, I know that I remember, but it's just unbelievable. Words can't describe. It's overwhelming. It happened as I was researching. It was on, because I said it even on the live stream yesterday. I was doing a live yesterday, and I mentioned it on there that it's on the opposite side of the road to the to where I remember it on. And no, it is on the same side as the road as the other house that I did stay in, what I remember anyway. So it's moved. I even made reference to it on the live yesterday. It happened this morning or this afternoon when I was doing research. It actually changed from the Mandela effect style. I mean, when I say changed, to the same side as the bus station. It's overwhelming, but as I say, it's not the first time I've come across Mandela effects. It's happened right in front of my eyes, so to speak. There and then. There's been more than that, more than one. Going back to the diffuser sort of thing I was mentioning, I was referring to earlier. When I say diffuser, it's like you remember something clearly. If taking away if you didn't include the Mandela effect. So if you remember, say, something that you remember, then you'll have a clear memory of it. But with the Mandela effect, you could have a clear memory of something, but you'll also have another memory superimposed on it that will diffuse it, that will block it, or interfere with it. So you're getting 2 memories, one contradicting another. So you're remembering 2 things. So they're like, it's like, it's so difficult to explain it. Phone cover. See, this is white. That's a white phone cover. You'll remember it as being white. So I'll show that, and then I'll show you the black phone cover. Right? You'll remember it. Well, what's supposed to be black? It's worn out, but the black phone cover. So you remember that. Now, if it's to say that only you only remember one, let's say the black one didn't exist, right? You'll remember the white one, but you'll also remember the black one. So you're having 2 memories. One that's supposed to have been impossible, one that you remember, one that's meant to be as it is, but you remember. But I'll put it another way. Let's say that it's so difficult. I'm not really good at explaining it. It's difficult for me. But let's say there's only one phone cover, right? You see it, you remember it as white, and then that's just great, is it? Bloody seagulls! Oh, I'm just getting stressed with that. Hang on, I have to clean that. Damn. Just as well the camera wasn't facing the other way. I hope there's no be a bit of windscreens. Because if that dries in, it'll just, it's a thing you could. I didn't go mad cleaning the car anyway. You could spend ages cleaning it and then that happens. But, don't feed the seagulls. I see signs. But what was I saying? No, I forget. So if you saw a white phone cover, and you remember it as that, and then it's put to you that there was never a black one, there's never a white one, it was always black, right? You'll remember the white one, but you'll also kind of remember the black one as well. So there's like 2 memories. You'll get both of them overlapping or intertwined. So it's diffusing each other. You're getting 2 memories, one contradicting another, and it's not a clear memory. So if you remember something clear, it's officially like you see something that you could say is there that hasn't been a Mandela affected, if you like. I don't know, it's the seatbelt, right? So that's always been there. You have a clear memory of it being there. You'll remember it, so it's unaffected. You'll remember it that way. But if it's, for example, let's say you remember the seatbelt was always black and it suddenly turned to white. Or we'll go back to the phone cases, you remember a white one, but it's put to you that it's always black. It's always been put to you that way now. When you check back research, and it's always been a black one, but you'll remember as a white one. So you're getting two memories, and they're conflicted. I don't know the frequency of what's going on, how the memories interact with each other, reality, the frequencies, simulator, whatever the heck. I don't know. There's so many theories out there I've heard. But I do know what I experienced, and there's like two memories that are blurring each other out, kind of. So that's the thing with my experience with it anyway. And certain what I remember, that I remember a white one, but it's put to me that there's a black one, and it was never white, yet I remember it. So part of me there's a memory of it being black, and there's a predominant, stronger memory that there was always a white one, but yet you look back records and there was none. So you're getting two memories phased in, cancelling or interfering with it. It's diffusing or affecting two memories. You get two memories that are correct. And it's just so difficult to, that's my experience of it. It's difficult to explain that, but you didn't want to see that bit of it. Yeah, it's the flight of the diffuser effect. It's I remember clearly, like for example, the seatbelt, that hadn't changed. I remember it clearly, crystal clear. With the Mandela effect, you have a crystal clear memory of it, but you have another memory right in front of it to kind of blur it. But you'll know for a fact that you remember it, 100%. You'll remember it, and you'll have reasons to remember it. And there's such a thing as a Mandela effect residue, where there's so you could look at it as proof that something was that isn't anymore. That's how I put it, like evidence. And there is Mandela effect residue that I could relate to. So, as I said, it's just a wee update video, and nothing fancy on this one, because it's kind of like just wanting to update that with the Dunfermline thing. That the two things that I've done research into. The guest house that I looked back on my records, the email that I got, that I screen saved, the name on it is the same name as the one that I ruled out right away yesterday when I had a look. I was on the other side of the road. It looked nothing like what I remember. It's too small. It doesn't have a staircase. It couldn't have 6 rooms. It was just too small. Yep, my mate remembers it having 6 rooms. I remember the staircase. I remember it being on the other side of the road, the bus station side of the road. And I sent the images, once I got the name of it, I went and sent the images to my mate, and suddenly the memories kind of fell into place. Like, yeah, that's right, it was that. It was which is completely not how I remember it. But it's sort of fallen in line with, I don't know, like an update memory. It's sort of, because I sent that image, when I sent the original photos that I took of the building that I believe it was some things that were kind of beginning to fall into place. But all that has now become undone after I've shown them the image that is not the one I remember for sure. But it's what, and then Dex back saying that it's clear that he remembers it like that. Which kind of like unwinds all the stuff he was beginning to build a memory of the one I sent earlier. It's on the live stream anyway, but I've noticed that phenomenon happening a lot with other people as well. It's a phenomenon in its own right, actually. So I don't know what's going on with them charts, by the way. Not much at all. But if you're watching it later, then that's fair enough. But yep, just like that, really odd. Another one to add to the list. And the fact that the other thing as well that was odd is I was doing the research on Google Maps, was screen saving stuff. I took the wee man on the Google map on the street, and it's changed to the same side as the opposite side of the side of the road, the bus station, which is the opposite side of the road as to what it was yesterday when I completely ruled it out, because it was on that side of the road for start. So it's now moved on to the same side as the road as the bus station, which is the same side as the road as the guest house that I remember, which apparently has never been. So I sent an email to the Dunfermline. I phoned up and I sent an email to them, just explaining what I'm doing and if I could check on the electoral register, etc. as well. Any information of any guest house that looked like that in that area. I've done searches around for it, couldn't find it. Couldn't find anything. So online, couldn't find anything online. So this email coming back, see what they come up with. But it's beginning to look more and more like that. It's goes against what I remember, which means it's going to be a tick in the box for something that resembles the Mandela effect that's referred to online. Because I've looked into it, I've thought about it hard. I've noticed the same phenomena with the update, the way the my mate's memories just suddenly updated when it showed the contradictory stuff to what I remember. And it's just like, this happened before with other people. I mentioned this on one of the previous streams to the one before yesterday as well, when I was talking about the Mandela effect phenomena. You know, it's like a mind control thing that happens when they confront with evidence, or show them evidence of something. You know, it's like memories suddenly updated. Even though all the stuff that were kind of falling into place that was one side and what I remember, all that's just quickly undone. It's just all undone and suddenly it's updated. The Mandela effect. Which means now that nobody seems to agree with what I remember. But even though there's some sort of proof or residue, because they have, remember, 6 rooms in that house that's supposed to be the one that we were at, and I've got the email supposedly to prove me wrong that I took in the screenshot save. The guest house, it's not big enough for 6 rooms. I mean, I could check to see if there is enough 6 rooms, but it certainly couldn't be right because the staircase went up. There was a big bit at the back. And even the picture that he sent me on Messenger kind of looked like the pictures that matched that guest house that contradicts what I remember as well. So in a way it's good because it's just more contradicted to me, the stronger it is the Mandela effect, because I know what I remember, and it makes it more puzzling and bizarre, which is more kind of like in favour of the Mandela effect phenomena. Because I couldn't accept that. When I drove there yesterday, I drove that street, I was on the wrong side of the road. The building was on the wrong side of the road to what I remember it being. The building was too small, it was on the opposite side. The side opposite the bus station, far too small a building. It looked nothing like what I remember. It just did not look right to me at all. Nothing like it. No way. And yet the screenshot that I took proves me wrong that it was. So I showed my mate, it suddenly updates, oh yeah, that's the one. And I got another text saying clearly remembers it. So it's absolutely puzzling. It's a Mandela effect for you. It's a Mandela effect. And now, as I say, night time as well, it was a thing that I came across. These are things I came across just lately. Hello. You know, every time I'm thinking about going, another one comes in. It's just always the same. But I've got a wee bit of time yet. But I don't want to make it too long. But yeah, night time, the spelling of the word night time. It was always... That's the thing. It's odd. I never had an issue with the word night time. It was a phrase. It was just night time. I remember ITV, late 80s, in the middle of the night. Even back then, when I was a kid, I sat up till small hours of the morning at the weekends when I was at school. Friday night, Saturday night. And ITV had this nighttime thing. I remember the cat was sort of an eerie-like thing, and then I also remember the sunset going down and then the city lighting up, and there was a crane and that music that I like. Oh, somebody used to join me there. But yeah, anything in the chats? Nothing in the moment. But there's only a couple there at the moment. The nighttime, ITV nighttime. So I never had an issue with the phrase nighttime. It was, and then earlier this afternoon, for some reason, I was writing something down, and the word nighttime, I was thinking about it, and I look at the word and I've got an issue with it. It doesn't look right when it's spelled Nightime. In fact, I don't even know now anymore. What is it? Is it two words? Is it night and time? Or is it nighttime joined together, like nighttime with two T's? Like Nightttime? Or is it Nightime? Just one T. I never had an issue with it before. I don't know what happened. But something's just not right anymore. It doesn't seem right. Because nighttime with the one T, it's be night. So it would read nighttime. Nighttime. N-I-G-H. And then time. But if you have it night time with two T's, it doesn't look right. When you see it word spelled N-I-G-H double T-I-M-E, it doesn't look right. But yeah, it sounds right because it's night time. But then it doesn't look right when it's two words neither, like night, space, and then the second word, time. That doesn't look right neither. It'd be like night time. You'd be saying it like, we'll go out at night time. That's not how it is. And night time, the two T's, doesn't look right, but it sounds right because it's night time. Night time. Oh, or night time. Oh, that's very unusual, Jim. N-I-T-E-T-I-M-E. That looks really unusual. No, I don't see it that way. It looks really... I've never spelt it night time like that. Like N-I-T-E and then T-I-M-E. That doesn't look right. That just looks really strange. I know it's wrong. It feels wrong to me, that. It feels really wrong. This is very, very interesting because, as I say, it's night time. That feels totally strange, that one. I've never spelt it like that before. But as I said, prior to this afternoon, I never had an issue with night time. I don't know how I spelt it. It's sort of changed now. I never had an issue with it. I used to watch, sit up late at night, as I say, as I still do. Night time came up with ITV nighttime. So, the other one as well was thank you. The word thank you, I might have mentioned that earlier. Thank you. It was one word. It was thank you. So you say thank you, but now when you look at phrases, it's two words. It's like thank you. But it's not. It was always thank you, and it was always one word. But apparently it's never been. Oh, really? Oh, the dash. Oh, good grief, that's... For me, it was always spelled night time with a dash. You remember the dash? That's really odd. That's absolutely bizarre. You remember it with a dash, night, dash, time. So that's just nuts. That's never how I remember it. You know, my memory's kind of... There's nothing wrong with my memory, but it just... Something's happened with the perception of just reality, the way reality is, and learning more about reality. That's what's fascinating about it. Because all this amazing stuff, it's fascinating. I want to learn more of what's going on. I can assure you. It's amazing. And there is, as I said, online, there's a phenomenon online known as, or referred to as, a Mandela effect. It looks like it's widely recognised. In fact, there was only I've spoke to very few in person about the Mandela effect, other than those that know me, friends and that. But there's another person, it's only been online, but there's someone that I spent a lot of time within that evening speaking about the Mandela effect, face to face, first hand. And I can't really think of anybody else, that comes to mind like that on a one-to-one basis, that's on the same wavelength, face to face. Because other people that have it and experience it, because I know there's people in there that experience it. All the ones that experience it online, I could see online who they are. I only know you from online. My mates, I know face to face. It's always me that brings up the conversation, and then from then they really stuck back to me, bring it up with another one. But it was me that actually mentioned it. That nobody that I know firsthand came to me about introduced me to the Mandela effect, or starting off a conversation about the Mandela effect to someone else about it. It was always to me, because they know it's me, it always brings that up and talks about the Mandela effect, because I know what enlightened will be it. So it's, my close family and my mates know that I talk about the Mandela effect, but I haven't come really across anybody else other than online that experience it. I haven't come across anybody face to face in a different out of the blue or anything like that. Other than those that already know that I talk about it, so I've already put the idea into their head about it, and then they maybe come to me, mention to me about something odd that they've experienced, because I know that I'm into it, because I've set the conversation prior. So in other times as well, they would have come to me to that. Oh yeah, the guest house mystery. Well, I was mentioning earlier on in the live nearly an hour ago. I was on about that. It's just even more of a mystery now. It's an even bigger mystery now, because I sent images. I looked back on my SD card. There's an email that I received for the booking confirmation. And on that, it's got the name of the guest house that completely goes against the one I remember. And that's supposed to have been where I went. It looks nothing like it. And what else is odd is I haven't actually taken any pictures of the guest house. This is something I would have done. Even though I wasn't online back then, I didn't do YouTube or Facebook back then. But I did take lots of videos and photos from my own records. And I'm sure I would have, but apparently on the SD card that I've got that I looked out this morning, earlier on the day, there isn't a single picture, and there's far less pictures on there than I thought there would have been for that event, that Bus Valley event in Dunfermline. So that was odd. It took me ages to find it as well. I actually put that SD card in earlier to look at it, couldn't find it. And I went through others, then I put it in again, said it's got to be somewhere. Tried it again, and there it was, which is odd as well, because that just suddenly appeared. Because I looked at that thoroughly the first time I put it in earlier this afternoon, and I couldn't find it. I went through others, I said, where the heck, I was getting a bit pissed off. Where the hell is it? I put it back in again, looked again, there it was. 29 August, Dunfermline. Looked through it, felt it was a lot smaller than I'd imagined it to have been. It had nothing like, it didn't have any pictures of the guest house and anything, but amazingly there was this screenshot of the thing. Just a full screenshot just appeared. Clearly as it was just there on the file of the guest house that goes against what I remember, which is good because it just reinforces the Mandela effect. In case you're wondering, that thing gets in the way, and just to get block the light out, I've stuck my jacket on the back of the seat there so I could block the view and block any lighting or anything like that, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And I heard that actually yesterday at the South Queen's Ferry. I was trying to block it and move the camera, it was just interfering with the light, but I could just throw something over the back of the seat. It looks conspicuous, not suspicious, so it kind of blocks out anything and it gets rid of that annoying white glare. That picture really annoyed me yesterday. It was all pixelated. It really pissed me off. I spent 2 hours thinking you was getting a great view, a great scenery. I looked back on it, checked it, and I was, oh shit. I was really annoyed. So it's just, I'm just sitting in the centre of Dundee, nothing fancy. But as I say, I put a video up earlier this afternoon about the Fife Heritage Railway. The quality on that's good. My video quality can still be good, like. What's somebody else in that channel? So that night, the spell of the night time is really bizarre. What was the name? Well, what I'll do, Louise, I'll tell you that on not on a live, because as I say, there's only limited watching it now. But if it's live, anybody can watch it. I don't want to spark off names because it is actually someone's house. The guest house is, I can name the guest house, but because I've already referenced that guest house with the guest house that I believe was, it's not going to put 2 and 2 together. I don't know what I'm on about. So I'm keeping that sort of low key offline. It's the principles that I'm putting up online. But I'll tell you that when I see you again, privately. But the actual names and that, I don't think you would. You might know. I mean, I've already sent off the names and records to the files at the library at Dunfermline. So I'm just waiting on the particular details privately coming back to me, so I know what's going on. But I could let you know what's happening regarding this phenomena, But the specific details aren't really necessary as such at this stage, especially if I put names on it. It could spark the controversy because it's like British who, well, I was told that they lived there that length of time, and if I go and say this about that not being the case, and they might not understand the Mandela effect and see it as a direct conflict in what they're saying, like to say they're wrong, and certainly not saying anybody's wrong, because that's not what the Mandela effect is. The Mandela effect is that we're both right, we're all right, but remember, two memories are correct, which completely contradict each other in this realm of reality. But that's our understanding of this reality. There's a lot more to it, and that's why I find it fascinating. There's more to this reality. Well, I mean, I experienced stuff that I was taught before that wasn't just sci-fi. The Mandela effect is just completely out of this world as far as what we were taught was possible, what wasn't. We were always given this perception of what was science fiction, and science fact. Well, the Mandela effect, goes right off the scale of anything. But I mean, it changes everything, And I've been used to it for a wee while now, because I came across it, the term the Mandela effect, since 2016, late 2016. 2016 was a big sort of year to me. But before that, I came across things that would resemble that. I just didn't know that there was such a thing online called the Mandela effect prior to 2016. But there was certainly something going on before it I was always aware of. I just couldn't, know what it was called or anything like that. But there was definitely something going on before that. Well before that. In the 80s, in fact. You'll know what I'm talking about. Regarding the buses. So, the term Mandela effect is like, as I say, I only came across that recently. But prior to that, there wasn't as much of it. There was less of it, but it made a bigger impact because it was like, it was being introduced to this bizarre phenomenon. I didn't know what to call it, what was going on. I thought time warp and stuff like that, changing history, that kind of stuff. And then when I came across the term Mandela effect online, then I started getting more and more aware of it, and then starting to get more and more of the ones I could relate to. And more, because okay, yeah, sure, I research online and find more that I could relate to, but also more in the environment that I'm in, like the world, and in the places that I've been. Like Backwater Dam Reservoir, for example, the trees, I mentioned on that a while ago. I've done a video on that. It'd be too long explaining it all now, but there's many, many, many Mandela effects for sand that I've experienced, and there's many online as well that I could see online and relate to. I'm not sure on there at the moment. Yeah, it's like as I said, the issue, the word nighttime was never an issue to me. I never thought any of it. I must have just spelled it automatically without even thinking about it. No, this afternoon I had an issue with it. Was it spelt with one T? Was it two T's? Was it two separate words? Now, why would I have an issue of it? I mean, gosh, I've only been writing since I was at primary, like, for the 40 years, well, 48 years, 48 years, well, went to primary 1980. So when I started learning to write in 1980, it was 5, so 43 years. I've only been writing 43 years, like, so surely I wouldn't have an issue with that until, why would I have an issue with it now, suddenly? Why is it, how do you spell night time? Why am I getting that now? And like, thank you was always one word for me as well. And especially when you put the dash here, night dash time, that looks so alien to me. And also the NITE-TIME, night, without the G in it. That looks really alien to me, that looks really odd. I've never spelled it like that. It's like light, L-I-G-H-T or L-I-T-E. There's differences, like, I don't have an issue with that at the moment yet, but the ones I do, the words that I've come across myself lately, was thank you. The phrase thank you was always one word, and nighttime was always one word as well. But when I spell it with one T, it looks kind of wrong now. It also spells it wrong. It sounds like it's like night time, but it's night time. But when I spell it with two T's, it looks wrong. when it's two separate words, it looks wrong. So, thank you as well. Yeah, so as I say, the Twilight Zone, as I might have mentioned earlier, the Rip Van Winkle Capers 1961 black and white Twilight Zone, 16 minutes into it. It only lasts 24 minutes, so you'll come across it anyway. Just watch the whole lot. They go advance through time. They put their bodies into suspended ammunition or something. Suspended ammunition, something like that. It's where the body, it's like what we're told astronauts do, anyway, or what they could do, what they might be able to do, what they could do. I remember hearing theories of that. I was fascinated with that, like decades ago, that the astronauts to go into this suspended ammunition. I don't know if they do or not, but this is what I've heard of it before, suspended ammunition or something. It's where the freezer body functions so it doesn't deteriorate through time. So they could travel massive distances in space and wake up at a destination, I don't know how it works like, but that episode of Twilight Zone was about that. The bank robbers, the robbers anyway, they had gold bars and they didn't want to spend it then, so they wanted to spend it in 100 years' time, which just seems bizarre. The storyline seems really weak. 100 years' time, gold bars. It turned out it wasn't worth anything. But who knows what would happen in 100 years' time. But the episode was written that way anyway. But I found the storyline was a bit dodgy like that, Who's going to do that 100 years' time? Anything could happen in that time. Gold world, the materials they think that they're going to live. How could anybody think that? What they're going to do in 100 years' time? The world's completely different. But it was written that way anyway. And during the scenes, they looked up at the sky and they saw the jet planes, 4 of them flying together, leaving big trails behind. Something that I see today that's bizarre. Very odd, because prior to lately, when I say today, I mean lately, within the last few years, since 2018 being a big turn and cornerstone, a big milestone for it, and since then it's just been... so before that, the weather was sort of gradually getting... There was bizarre things happening, I was aware of it. 2018 was like, that was the big debut, if you like. The big grand introduction to bizarre skies, for me anyway. And since then, it's just been ticking along since, or accelerating. So before then, it was maybe just ticking along. It was just a wee bit here and there. I noticed things that were a bit odd. And 2018 is when the raves went up. That was it. We're on the go now. We're getting really into showing us bizarre stuff in the sky. It's been like that since. Jet planes flying, like they're racing each other. Trails going in squiggly lines and everything. I've got pictures of those, by the way. Not here now, but I've got them. I can look them out for another future live or whatever, or a video. So yeah, look at that episode anyway, if you're into it, Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone, the parallel as well. It's so like the Mandela effect. It's just incredible. The parallel, the black and white one, it's called the parallel. So yeah, it's got tons of stuff, but can't really. I'm going to the cinema. I don't think it's too long. But I'll see what in here. It's Saturday night, busy centre of Dundee. Not much to see. It's the McManus Museum. I see it every day. Enjoying our drinks over there. And, not really an awful lot. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just a busy Saturday night here in Dundee Central. There's viral buses. 8911 on the one at St Mary's, and viral 400 MMC Alexander body, 6.7 litre Cummins diesel with the Voith automatic transmission, ZF drop centre, rear axle. Unladed weight 10,784 kilograms. It is the ZF front axle. It's a smart hybrid. It's got an electric motor on the end of the transmission. It's belt driven, toothed belt driven motor. So when it's not got a battery, that bus. When it brakes, there's a super capacitor in there that stores the kinetic energy It stores it as electrical energy. It's changing kinetic energy into electrical energy. It stores it in a supercapacitor, and when the computer decides that it wants the extra boost or thrust to run in parallel with the engine for the improving fuel economy and emissions and that, it then does that via a motor that's connected to the prop shaft that drives the back axle, and the motor is driving a toothed belt on a pulley at the end of the motor and a pulley on the prop shaft that assists the engine with the torque delivery to the back axle of the drop centre ZF rear drive axle. Alexander Dennis Enviro 400 mmc. Integral. And Alexander Dennis are merged as one company. Dennis tend to concentrate on the chassis aspects of things. They were a chassis builder before, like fire engines as well. They've done fuel trucks and everything. But with buses, they've done chassis like Dennis Dominator, Tridents and all that. And then they started merging with Alexander. They concentrated on the bodywork. Walter Alexander. And then they kind of went to another phase like Transbus. And then they merged with Dennis and became Alexander Dennis Limited. So it was built in Falkirk. It was new to Dundee in December 2018. Part of a batch of originally it was fleet numbered 6697 to 6700. Then when McGill's bought over National Express Dundee, later on that year in 2021 they fleet numbered them all with the new fleet numbers. That batch is now fleet numbered 8909 to 8922. There's 14 of them. The later batch of the Alexander Enviro 400 MMCs were ZF boxed with the monitor mirrors. That bus still retains the original mirrors, which I prefer. I prefer mirrors than monitors. So, yeah, yesterday I was doing bus spotting as well. Some of the old Dundee buses. I mentioned that in my live stream and that. But I just thought I'd show you. There's other bus there as well, that's a single decker. I've mentioned this before, but the single decker, that's 2435. That was old fleet numbered 2051. Again, they changed the fleet numbers when the girls bought over. That's a Volvo B7 TL with right Eclipse bodywork. New to Dundee, around about November 2011. Part of a batch of. It's funny this one because the first two are demonstrators. It's 59 plate and there's a 10 plate. You don't really see it clearly in here, but it's just at the 18 bus stop. There's 27 of the 61 plates, and then there's another additional 6 12 plates that came in April 2012 that are also Volvo B7 TLs, exactly the same, just 6 months apart. So yeah, I've driven them. I've driven all them, like. So I'll not make this live too long, but yeah, I just thought I'd give you a wee update on the mystery with the guest house. The name, I'll say, I didn't want to name it because I can tell you the name like privately, but as soon as I name that guest house, it's going to just say, well, it's basically making them look like, you know, I'm putting controversy in what they're saying. They said they lived there 10 years, but I wish say that I was there in 2019 and making a song and dancing. This is an electric bus if you don't already know. For anybody that doesn't know Dundee, this is just the electric fleet. That's the single deckers, that's another Volvo B7 RLE, sorry. The Volvo B7 RLE is the single decker. I said TL, I beg your pardon. Volvo B7 RLE is the single deck chassis. It's a light Eclipse bodywork. That electric bus is Enviro 400 MMC, fully electric, built in Alexander. The chassis is BYD, Build Your Dreams. It's I think it's China, isn't it? China that built it. So that's the chassis of that. The single decker, the Volvo B7 RLE. It's Volvo. They have the letter codes like this. It's you got your B for bus. 7 is for the 7-litre engine. R for rear mount position for the engine. Then you've got LE, low entry. So Volvo B7 RLE. Volvo's the make. B for bus, 7-litre engine. R for rear mount, where it's positioned on the bus chassis at the rear. and it's a low entry bus early. For the Volvo B7 TLs, the double deckers, the Gemini bodies, again Volvo won't do it this way. It's Volvo B for bus, 7-litre engine, T transverse mount engine, a transverse mounted engine. Engine's actually on the near side, transmission's on the off side. So it's TL and L for low engine, just low. They didn't put the E on there, it was just TL as it's referred to. So that's my knowledge about it. So just pulling up there on the 18. And the other buses say it's another Volvo B7 RLE with right Eclipse bodywork. Right is the body manufacturer's Eclipse model. So it's Volvo chassis and right bodywork. The right bodyworks have kind of, I think they've factory in Ireland's closed down, I think, or closing down, or something's happened to it anyway. I'm sure they're going to, from what I understand, they're shutting down or something. If not, they've already shut down. I might need to be verified on that, but I'm trying to balance this again. I had it balanced before, so it's not going to balance now. Great, is it? I had it. So yeah, that's really it. I've not really got much. I wasn't really planning on doing much the day, just to give you a wee update on that, on the bizarre stuff that happened earlier. As I say, the Mandela effect's just happened in front of me. The guest house suddenly being on the other side of the road. What I just remembered only yesterday when I'd driven there. I even mentioned it on the live stream yesterday. That was on the opposite side of the road. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's just bizarre. So it happened there and then. It happened. I was only talking about it yesterday. I made reference to it. It was on the opposite side of the road, and here it is on the same side as the road to the other one. I mean, that only happened as I was researching. It's not the first time that's happened, by the way. As I mentioned earlier about the heater, there's probably other things as well I just can't think of off the top of my head, but things happening as I am actually doing it. There's things changing as I go on, right in front of it. But, as it's in real time. Not like I stumbled, because it happened right there as I was doing research. I don't understand what happened. I didn't feel anything. I just, as I say, there's like a clutch system regarding the Mandela effect as well. When I say that, I mean it's like, it's not just suddenly, it's changed like that. There's a bit of a delay. You see it, you don't register it at first, then you begin to dawn on you. And it dawned on me pretty damn quickly that time, because it was only all within the same afternoon. It's not just like a sudden change. It's not like just you look at 1 minute there. The heater thing as well, that was a similar kind of thing. I was doing something else. I was actually doing some research about the Mandela effect, and I had the heater on. It was probably winter 2016 or 17 or something, a few years ago. I had the heater on in my half-room, in my bedroom, and I looked up. I was looking down, and I just looked up randomly. I looked over towards the heater. I noticed marks on it. It didn't just sort of hit me like that. It did eventually, but it dawned on me more and more that something happened. But initially, it takes a bit of time to realise. You're looking again, thinking about it. You look away and think again. You do a double. It's not like suddenly you look there. 1 minute like that would be there. Next minute it's gone. You're like, it's gone. No, it's not quite like that. It would be like it's there 1 minute. Next minute it's gone. But you'd look there. You wouldn't think. You'd look away again. Then you would subconsciously would start realising. Then you look again. You might realise that something. You sort of accept it if you're like, no, that's definitely was some. So that's what's like when I mean clutch. I just use that as a term, the way I describe it anyway. But it's not, as I say, it's not like the Mandela effect that if something was there, you look there, right, it's there. You look there and again it's gone. You're like, what's gone? Oh wow, that's like this. No, it's not like that. Well, not in my experience anyway. Let's put it like that. I can't say for anybody else. I can't say what it's like for anybody else. I don't even know what's causing it or anything, but for my experience anyway, you look at it, it'd be like there, and you know it was there. It's always been there. And you look at it again, you would notice it would be gone, but you wouldn't accept it immediately. You'd be thinking, well, it's blank, and you would probably just get on a bit. It wouldn't, and then you'd sort of look again, am I right and wrong? And then something inside's telling you that there's something there before. And then you get this sort of memory, is it, it's right, there wasn't something there before, but there's definitely something there before. You get two memories, and you know that there's an issue because you're having an issue, just even thinking about it. And so, but that's what it's like, you know. You're not going to tell me to hang about there. For fuck's sake, they've got the whole bloody town on. Why do I want to hang about there for? Fucking hell. Sorry. Oh, no, just getting tired. I need a drink of water. Fucking. No, I'm just tired. So there's nobody's fault, like, yeah, just give me a light, I get a bit. Why there? Got the whole bloody street. Why hang about there? Got all that area hang about there. Why right there? No, of all times. For fuck's sake. Oh, just come on, I'm getting tired. I need something to eat. I know really I eat. I've had my piss in the drink. Just get that way and then sit in the car, not moving much. It's just, that's the thing, when you do driving jobs, you don't realise how stressful you get. Something, well, not driving like, but it's a prime example, you know, it takes wee things just to, and you get out and you're like, you feel better. It's nobody's fault, like, I mean, it's a free country, anybody could go ahead and sit anywhere they want. It's just annoyed at sod's law, that's all. Sod's law, that's all I'm pissed off about. It's just like, sod's law, eh? And try to get this to balance so I get a drink of water. Come on, fuck, come on, it's going to sit like that for a minute. Just, sorry, I'll let it sit like that for a minute, just to get a drink, I get thirsty here, just use a minute. It's like before, I've had this, I've sat in a place, car park, where there's nothing about, right? I want a piece of M&T, and what happens? I park right next to you. I've had that before. I've had people parking right in front of me, facing me. I was at Craigavon, wanting to get the view. Somebody comes up and parks, they've got the whole area, they come and park in front of me, facing me with an M&T. Who the hell wants to see inside somebody's car? And like, I put that down, I was like, what? You know, and then I think one time I put the main beam on or something as well, it was at night. Oh. So I'm not annoyed at any of it, it's just sod's law, eh? Sod's law, Murphy's law, sod's law, it does exist. Anyway, and just, never mind. It's always on a live, eh? But, forgot what I was saying though. Anyway, going to be at the cinema, and just going to be, what's on, just all this shite. I've got one of these Cineworld Unlimited cards. It's dead cheap actually, they brought the price down to $10.99 a month. It used to be $15.99 a month, unlimited cinema, any Cineworld in the UK. And I just go for the house basically and get used to the card, eh? The films nowadays are just nothing like the way they used to be. Well, last week I was at the Perth Playhouse. I watched an old film. It was a 1970s film. It was called Dog Afternoon. And it was good because it had a proper storyline. You could actually relish it. You could, you know, the modern films, you can't relish the storylines. They're just too fast. The storylines, there's like multi-storylines in it. It's like, I can't keep up with the stories. It's just like a blur. So too many fancy graphics. There's too much of that. And the storylines are just all too complicated. But when you look at an old retro film, 1975 film it was made in 1975. Same year I was born actually. It's called Dog Afternoon. That was released in 1975. It was released in September 1975. I think they made production in 1974. What I'd done is I went into Wikipedia that film to get a bit more info on it because I quite liked it actually. It was really good. And instead of reading through all it, I put it in the app where it does the audio. I just copy and paste it, put it in the app and just listen to the audio. So the production was made during '74. I went through how it was shot, the type of cameras, how they used the cameras. It was done during cold weather, but they had to wet the actors to make them look like it was hot and sweaty, you know, moisten them up to make it look like it was summer when it was really cold, and they had to put ice in their mouth to get rid of the breath as well, because it would give it away, that it was cold. So they put ice in their mouth to bring the to get the temperature cold, so it wouldn't show the breath. And this was stuff. Just type it in on Wikipedia. Dog Afternoon, it's called. 1975 film. It's a great film. I really enjoyed it. I got into the movie, got into the storyline. I was able to relish. It showed you scenes where you could actually relish the scenes, unlike the modern ones. The modern crap that you get, they just show you far too much. You can't grasp it. It's too much stuff. Too many storylines. Too fast a pace. So it's just a blur. I come out there and I don't really enjoy it. Very few films are made like that these days. It's all too fast. Too many. Too complicated. A nice old 1975 film, watching that was just a great feeling. Like the disaster movies and stuff. You can actually relish what's going on. It shows you scenes of the cars coming in. You see the scenes of the bridge. It's just take your time kind of thing. A chance to relish what's going on. But the modern stuff, you don't get that. It's just too figuring, too complicated, too much, I don't know what would be it, too hyper. That's what it is, too hyper. Too much going on. You can't really relax. You can't relish. When you're watching these thriller films, you get a chance to think, relish what's happening. You see the scenery as well. It's real acting. That was a big backfire. It was one of the cars up there, and a big, probably would have heard that, a backfire. But you could, you see the old films, you could relish them. The modern ones you can't. Very seldom you get a film like that. So the films that are on the night, I'm just basically going there for the sake of it. Get out of the house, get the use of my card. They did bring the price down a bit. I didn't even know they'd done that if it wasn't for the projector guy that operates the projector. I basically asked if I could have to go behind the scenes to look at projectors. I asked if I could put it online, but I couldn't. So I've got my own private footage of the projector room at the Cineworld, but I couldn't put it online. I asked them not allowed, so I can't. Security reasons and stuff, so I've got to go by that. And it was interesting because I'm into all that. I like all the behind the scenes stuff. When there's nobody, when I'm the last person out the cinema, which is another thing, by the way, I make sure I am, and I stay right to the very end, because many times people have just got up and left and they've missed a bit at the end. They have all the credits, all the end credits and everything. You think that's it. Something's a bit at the end, and I've been caught with that before. I was about to go once, and then something came up. I turned my back. I said, "Plug it in," and I missed that. And ever since, I stayed right to the end. I look like I know anyone's sitting there, which I am, and they're waiting to clean the seats and that, and then still there. And then sometimes I go, we'll just stand, but I'll wait at the doorway and look. And sometimes something comes up. Not all the time, but sometimes something does come up at the end. Like in one of the Fast and Furious films, there was a bit at the very end. And there was an actor in it as well. It was pivotal, a well-known actor. I can't remember what it was. It was Jason Statham. It was Fast and Furious. Oh God, I can't remember what one it was. Might have been 9 or 8 or something. But at the end of it, he showed it at the very end, after all the end credits. At this point, the cinema was empty, and I saw it. There was another film like that as well, where I went with my mate. I says, "Wait till the end." Everybody got up, and I said, "I bet something," and something did come up. I can't remember what the film was now. It'll come back to me eventually, but you'll remember. But yeah, I stay to the very end. And sometimes when there's nobody about to watch the end, there's nothing else. I'll get in, like, oh hey, look at the back of the screen. It's a big woofer speaker. You can see that, just to see the screen big. Have a look at it and behind the scenes. I couldn't do that with people there, obviously, but when I got the place to myself, I have a look in there. And then I asked to look at the projector room. I had a look at there. I look at the big amplifiers, the projectors, digital projectors, by the way. Films are sent by downloaded. What else? Huge amplifiers, like surround sounds, all acoustically positioned speakers, audio engineers. So that no matter where you sit in the cinema, you get the proper sound. There's a lot of other things. You get laser cameras, not in the one not my local one, but it's 4DX or something, IMX or something like that. Use a laser cinema, I believe. But yeah, the projector guy, he was telling me that his membership's going to be cheaper. Oh, great, it is, but it's only for, you only get to see certain cinemas, Group 1 cinemas. So other places where it isn't Group 1, you've got to pay just a wee bit extra. But the offset cost would probably, for the number of times I go to different places anyway, other than my local, which is a Group 1. So if I go like to Glasgow or Edinburgh or something, I think it's Group 2 at least. There's Aberdeen, there's one of them anyway, it's a Group 2. You have to pay extra for the IMAX and the 4DX as well. A little, you don't pay as much as the full outright ticket if you weren't a member. But I drink of water. This will probably fall again. I knew it. Bloody knew it. Sorry, just use a second. I can't get to balance, just need a drink. I'll let you get some cinema food. I'm going to get. I say cinema food because I don't pay there. I mean, the price of this. I mean, your popcorn and that. It's just the price. Even though in the member you get a little bit cheaper, it's still bloody expensive. I mean, you're allowed to, at least I just bring my own popcorn and bottle of juice. And I've always done that. I mean, occasionally I've went and forked out a fortune just for the same thing, more or less. And sometimes not even as good, because it's been like one thing, the pick and mix and that was hardly, it was dried, it was never bought. I spent a fortune, but I could go to the supermarket and get that pick and mix in better quality because it's it's been restocked more often because more people will buy it, so it's fresher in the supermarket. But the one at the cinema, well, that time anyway, the time I went and the one I went to when I bought it, it was dry. I spent a fortune on it. I was like, is that how you get for it? Jeez, I was my that's mate. I've got to look this way. No, I don't look this way. Did I lie? I don't want to show it. He isn't serious, but if you notice it's a car here. I can't really go on it because I'm doing a live, but I'm not going to show it as well. It's somewhere on me, but I didn't want them to look over because if they did and they came over and I'm doing this, it's just that I couldn't be bothered. I should have really picked an appropriate place, but I didn't. Just have a tea at the GKD. I just said, okay, well, I'll get it done now. Because when the fun assistant just popped over at Tesco to get my cinema food, and no, I'm going to spend a fortune at the cinema. I just say the stuff I got last time, well, one of the times it was all dry, wasn't that good. Who's going to spend all that money? Yeah, people do. If people didn't, then they would have to do something, wouldn't they? But that's just the tradition, is it? Pay a fortune for your ticket, pay a fortune even more for food. It's madness, but there you go. It's just like you say, getting used to the ticket, watch some shite on at the cinema just to get the cinema experience. And it's just a lot of pish. It's all, once you've seen that type of film, it's called the Bogeyman. There's other films that are on just now. Ones I've seen, the Fast Furious X, I've seen that already. The other one, the Galaxy, the Universal, so just oh shit. It's not for me, like, yeah, it's a good film, but it's just, for me, I wouldn't enjoy it. The storylines, too much fancy graphics. I like a film where you can actually see things that are familiar. A lot of films these days are shot in fantasy land, either way in the future or way in the past or on a different planet or something, it's totally different. It's not like a proper film that I like, proper for me anyway, where it's a thriller with, everyday things that you see, so you can get a feel for it and relate to it. Like that 1975 film, for example. I watched that at the Perth Playhouse because they're showing the old film. Dundee DCI something show films as well. I need a drink. But they do that. But the old 1975 film, Dog, Afternoon, and films of that era, of that kind, of that type, where you could see a lot of the backdrops, that shows you actually the scenery, that shows you the places. You get a chance to think what's happening, what's going on, a chance to relish the film, take it in, and it's also nostalgic for me because that's the type of film we used to watch back in the 80s and that anyway. Because back then, when I was just on the wee screen, and I remember going to the cinema And I remember watching Rocky 4. It was Rocky and Drago, 1986. Rocky 4. Ivan Drago, the Russian Dolph Lundgren. Is it Dolph Lundgren or something? That was just, I remember watching that. It's films like that I like, 80s stuff, 70s films, things I remember. But to get a film like that these days, they're not made like that anymore, as you say. They're just made with multiple storylines. Far too fast, far too much action, too many storylines, too hyper, too quick, too much going on. You can't get a chance to relish it. I don't even know, it's just like a blur to me. And it's more and more films like that. It's gradually got that way. It's got worse and worse and worse. It's got to the point where it's just going for the sake of it and not even enjoying it. And only occasionally you get good films, ones that I enjoy. I call them good films for me because I like them. Other ones you just go and just, come out and say, what the hell was all that about? Really, true, honestly. Other films that occasionally I get that I do enjoy, I come out and I think about them and really enjoy it. I even went into Wikipedia and researched more into that film, Dog Afternoon, to see it on the big screen again. It's not all the films from the 70s and 80s that I liked. There was films in that area that were just utter shite for me. I didn't enjoy them at all. But they were still of that era. But, they were still shit. I mean, there's a lot of films, But as a basic trend, the majority of films these days are just, for me, they're all like that. They're either set in a fancy place, it's a fantasy land, set in the future, set in the past, set in a different planet, set somewhere, where you're not in an everyday environment. And they're either doing stupid things, like ridiculously superheroes. And I know the superhero stuff's going to be about like Superman, but I like the Superman things. It was more a disaster movie, and that kind of relished what was going on. But now there'll be all these modern, they're showing them doing all these things that are just they can't get into it. It's like over the top superhuman graphics, superhuman thing, and it's all just CGM anyway, isn't it? It's CGI for me, computer generated images. It's just shite. It's just not for me, But I do go to watch just for the sake of it, get this cinema experience. But there seems to be the thing though. As soon as you get there, you just know, or it's one of these films that starts off good, and you think it's going to be good, then it just turns cheesy, then it just gets stupid. I hate that. I like films that give you a good mystery, a good time. You actually sit, enjoy it, think about what's going on. Then you see a bit of the scenery slowly, and you get a chance to think what's happening. You get a chance to relish what's going on. That's the type of films I like. But anyway, that's an hour and a half. I'm going to have to get going. I'll buy him old popcorn, old soft drinks. There's not much going on at the moment. You can watch this any time. As I said, it was just an update on the nighttime chemtrails. I've heard them being called. I don't know what they are, but I've never known what they are. I only know what I've been told they've been. I've been told about contrails. I've heard about chemtrails. I don't know what they are. I've not been up there to find out. I mean, you could send stuff up. You could experiment. I know a channel that does. I've watched a channel that shows the channel doing and explaining about experiments that it's saying that it's putting out there, and it's interesting. I find it interesting anyway. I watch it when I can, as much as I can when I can. They send, one of them sends stuff up. Well, at the moment. But there's a lot of questions I would like to ask regarding all that as well, But anyway, it's not about much. See, I couldn't even show you a good view. And fair to show you a good view. I was really annoyed yesterday because I went to South Queen's Ferry. It was a beautiful sunset, lovely views. The picture came out crap. There was too much light here. There was too much light. It was causing it to pixelate. Then there was a lot going on there. I was trying to block it out and everything else. I was getting a bit irritated. And then the picture was 2 hours. The railway place that came out crap. I was bloody annoyed when I saw that. So you can. So I said, what's the point in showing you beautiful places? Because it's just going to come out crap. I'll just keep them for the videos anyway. I can show you them on that. I was actually going to show you them on the other phone on the screen, you know, what I took pictures of, but too long. So I suppose I'll better get my Tesco's and that. Anyway, I'm going to have to go. So there's not much in there. I've had a look, there's not much going. But thanks for whoever's joined in and for them, you know, interacting and that. If you're watching this at whatever time, then I hope you enjoy it, whatever. You can look through all the lives and that. I'll keep the lives public. I put up videos on my channel. I put one up this morning. The Fife Heritage Railway's up. That's up now on my channel. It's always the same. I'm about to go and somebody comes on. It never fails. It's not good. I'm glad you came on and thank you for doing that. But I've got to get going now. There's another video that just reminded me that before I go off here, I know that some of you, I know one of them likes the derelict places. Well, yesterday, after I done the South Queensferry, on the way home I stopped off at the Craigie Hall, disused army village, and I got some footage at night. Now, it might not be your thing, but I know some like the nighttime stuff, you know, like the nighttime adventures. So that was on my own. I couldn't do much because I was on my own. But I did go up and got something for you anyway. I'm going to make that video. I've not compiled it yet, but I will make it and I'll get it put on my channel soon. I've done a video of it already during the day, a proper in-depth video, looking around the area and down at the Craigie Hall Army Barracks as well. That's already on my channel. I'll put a link in the description to that video. When I put the nighttime one up, I'll put a link in the description to that nighttime video of the big one that I done during the day, because as I say, I know that some like the midnight adventures and that, so I thought I'd just piggyback that onto the day out. I was on my way home and thought, well, I'm going to have to turn to get on the other side of the motorway, and as I did, I realised that the village is there. I said, I'm going there, have a quick look, get the video at night. So I've done that. The footage is there, I've just got to compile it up. That will be going on my channel soon. So Craigie Hall, disused army village at night, and as I say, I'll put a link in the description of that video of the one I done during the day, the big proper one. So I'm gonna have to go. Thank you for joining me on my live. Not much of a view, I'm afraid, but it was just about relaying that information over. Don't know how to end it. I just have to go. Right. Thanks for watching. See you all on my channel, and bye for now. Okay, see you later.